What's going on, guys? My name is Munchables and welcome back to my channel. We're going to be jumping into the third video of the series where I help you guys get better at solo queue. Now, the third video is going to be talking about in-game mechanics. This is the biggest request I've had since starting this series is, yes, we've talked about mentality, we've talked about how to think about the game, but how do I physically get better at Vainglory? And I'm going to tell you exactly how in this video in 5 steps, once again, just like video number 2. Now, the first step is going to be reading your abilities. In fact, I'll go through the steps. We've got read your abilities, we've got predict the fight, drills, gold rush, and finally blitz. Now, I'll explain each of those in a little bit more detail. We'll start off by reading your abilities. Guys, if you don't know what your hero can do, how can you ever be good at your hero? It is a simple concept, but you would not believe how easy it is to misunderstand what your hero can actually do. Let me give you some quick examples. Did you know, for example, that both Celeste and Blackfeather, when they reach level 8, when they first overdrive an ability, Blackfeather gets extra range on his on point and Celeste gets extra range on her heliogenesis. The same with Baron. When you level his ultimate up, you get extra range on your auto attacks. All 3 of these are game-changing power spikes, but a lot of players don't even realize they exist. Another great example is Adagio. When you cast your heal on someone, Arcane Fire is cast onto all enemies nearby that person. If you attack someone with Arcane Fire, you gain energy back based on the damage they take as Adagio. Also, if you have your buff on yourself and you attack someone with Arcane Fire, you do 50% more damage. That is a huge amount more damage. People don't even realize that it exists. Before you go into your next solo queue game, whatever hero you play, please take a moment, go through your abilities and actually read what they do, because you may be surprised at some of the cool stuff that you can actually pull out of your sleeves. Now, the second point I want to bring up is predicting the fight. You need to work out what is going to be happening during the next fight and how you can play around that. You see, on the Vainglory 8, players like Dienzio, they block everything, they dodge everything else. They avoid all damage, it seems. But they can't do that purely on reactions alone. What they do is they look at the fight, they look at the enemy composition, they figure out what does the enemy need to do to win this fight, and what can I do to play around that. If you're playing Vox, it's very easy to dodge away from things like a Lance Impale, from all kinds of skill shots, and like an Alpha, for example, it can be very difficult to stick to a Vox if you miss your A, and Vox can actually dodge that very easily. And also, so long as you figure out what you need to block in a fight, and you look out for that ability, it's actually fairly easy to land that reflex block. So always go into a fight thinking, okay, what are they going to be trying to do? Who's the biggest threat? Who's the biggest threat to me personally? Who's the biggest threat to the team? If you're playing something like a Ringo and Krull is charging onto you, how much damage is he doing? Can I just ignore him and jump onto their backline and outdeal the damage? Or do I need to kite back? Figure out in your head how that's going to happen, and also try to think, when is he going to use his ultimate? Because if you can block that, that is a game-changing reflex block. Now, you may be saying to yourself, that's all well and good, Munchables, but I can't reflex block for shit. Well, fear not, there is a solution. You can improve at reflex blocking, and the way to do that is by doing drills. Now, I have some examples I'm going to put on the screen now. I got Excoundrel to go into a couple of custom games with me, so we could just run through what exactly a drill is and how to make this happen. So we just had an example of Vox and Lance playing together, and he was just trying to land impales on me, and I was trying to dodge them with my Sonic Zoom and also to reflex block them. So you can see that actually it's not that difficult to do, but obviously that's one ability in isolation, but the key thing is to be practicing your reflexes and practicing where, even just things as simple as where to place your hands on your tablet so that you're ready to block something when it comes out of a brush. When you're face checking something, how do you dodge that CC? How do you block that CC? And this is a perfect way to practice that. Just get a couple of friends in. And also, if there's like 4 of you, for example, you could get multiple people on one team so that someone can practice dodging lots and lots of abilities at once. Now, the 4th step, I talked a lot about CSing in my last video, and a lot of people were kind of questioning sort of how that's done, how do you get better at that, and how important farming actually is. Well, one way to really improve at CSing is there's literally a function for this in Vainglory. Go on Gold Rush. It's a game mode. You play as Ringo specifically, and you have to beat the timer on getting a certain amount of gold. If that's too easy, if you're getting all of the CS really easily on that, first of all, you're probably pretty good at CSing, and second of all, don't buy any items. Instantly, it becomes significantly harder. And if you want to practice on something specific, let's say you're struggling at CSing with Celeste Heliogenesis, then just start a custom game where it's just you in the game and you can practice with that. You can practice with X amount of items. Like, let's say you've just hit your Shatterglass Power Spike or something and you're trying to figure out exactly how much damage you do. Just jump into practice mode for 5 minutes and you will instantly make yourself a lot better. The goal is to try and aim for 10 CS per minute. That is the dream number right there. And once you're hitting that number, you'll immediately start to see that you have a lot more gold to play with when you're in your ranked games. Now, the final thing that I want to point out is something that basically every other MOBA player that plays any other game dreams of having. We have a late game team fight simulator inside of Vainglory. It's called Blitz. No, you won't get any rank for it. No, you won't like level up your account in any way aside from just the actual levels, but you can instantly jump in. It takes 5 minutes and you can play whatever you want. It's blind pick. And you can practice team fighting on that hero. You could just play 20 games in a row as Ringo, and instantly you have 20 times 5 minutes of late game team fighting on Ringo to practice your blocks, practice your dodging, practice your stutter stepping. It is literally a perfect little simulation to practice your team fight mechanics in. You could not ask for a better tool to practice in. So those are my 5 tips on that one. I'll just reread them for you. Read your abilities, know what you do, and that goes for items as well. Make sure that you know what the items in the game do. Predict the fight. What are they going to be trying to achieve? What do you need to try and achieve? How can you make that happen? And what do you need to do because of that? Drills. Go into a practice game with a friend and practice blocking, practice dodging, practice landing your skill shots, practice all of the stuff that you need to practice, that you need. Anything that you struggle with in a ranked game, practice it there. Gold Rush. Get good at CSing. CSing is how you get gold in Vainglory, and it's how you build a lead for yourself. And finally, to practice team fighting, just jump into a couple of games of Blitz. It is literally that simple. All right, I want to thank Scoundrel for helping me out with this video, jumping into those custom games. And also, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sweejay as well. He was the guy that introduced me to the concept of drilling reflex blocks and abilities back when he was coaching Immortals. So thank you very much for the shout out on that one, or thank you for the information on that one. That's going to be it from me though. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel as well. I'm going to be doing another couple of videos in this series, hopefully, and then we're going to be expanding into some other content. So make sure to let me know what kind of videos you want to see down in the comments below. That's it from me though. Thank you very much for watching.